Hi, this is Brandon Smiley from thirstgym.com. Today we're talking about an exercise called the depth drop to reactive broad jump. So we've got some different plyometric progressions involved in this one exercise that we generally do for our athletes once they've kind of got the broad jump down. The depth drop is great. We've talked about the depth drop in the past, especially when it comes to different box jump variations. I think you can use the depth drop in just about any situation in your plyometric training options. What I like about this is that we're going to essentially shock the system with the depth drop, and then we're going to immediately use that stretch shortening cycle that we get in the hamstrings to progressively push us forward in the broad jump. So we've talked about the broad jump, we've talked about the depth drop, we've talked about the reactive broad jump. All those exercises are going to come now full circle into one exercise to where we really help develop some pop and some speed on these plyometric progressions. So we need some kind of box that we can do for our depth drop. I'm going to use one that's here that's kind of moderate. Keep in mind, as we've talked about depth drops before, that you want to use something that's going to be able to elicit the training response that you want. So if you need to overload the system, then obviously you want to pick a depth drop that's going to be higher than the athlete can normally jump. If you're going to basically use it just to be able to get that stretch shortening cycle, something moderate that they can normally just standardly jump from a vertical perspective is okay. So I've got a 16-inch here, which for me is not going to be a problem. So I'm going to get on the box. I'm going to perform my depth drop. I'm going to step off. As soon as I hit the ground, boom, hit my broad jump, and I'm going to hit a couple of them in succession. So I'm probably just going to hit 2 on this one. That way I can make sure I can fit them all in, and you can see them all, but I'll do a couple demonstrations on it. So I'm going to step off here. So notice that first one, I've got to be able to land good and go. And then the second one I hit, I'm going to jump again. So again, step off. You can even teach a little hop off. Athletes that have a hard time doing that, or they land a little awkwardly footed, so if they go to step off and they land like that, you may start teaching them just to have that little jump and hop off. But then you eventually want to try to get them to learn how to step so that we can control your height a little more if you need it. So I'll do a little bit of hop off this one. So here. And then we'll go one more time. And step off, jump, jump. So we're trying to teach the athlete how to limit ground contact time, put force into the ground, jump as far as they can, and then also use that stretch shortening cycle to build up the glutes and the hamstrings. I can already feel that just doing those couple jumps that I did. Obviously, when you're programming this, think about the height of your box, think about how many jumps you've got, how many ground contacts you're hitting. So, well, there's only 2 jumps. I'm sorry, there's the 2 jumps off the box. There's 3 ground contacts. That can be some really confusing math if you're counting ground contacts. You're like, well, I got 2 jumps, but you've got to count jumping up the box or stepping up the box as a jump. If you're somebody that calculates all the loads off the depths and everything, then you start getting a little bit more complicated, because that's a moderate height for me, so it may not even count in terms of your count something that's 80% or more of what you can jump with the depth drops and ground contacts. But that's besides the point. So when I program this, first of all, look at how many reactive broad jumps I put in there. Usually I'm only doing 2 or 3. I think obviously you got to pretty much have a minimum of 2, otherwise you got to depth drop the broad jump. So the fact that you have the reactive part, you definitely going to want 2, 3, maybe 4. I think 2, 3 is good. Then you're going to figure in your sets. So you're probably going to program a lot more sets than you are reps. So 4 or 5 sets. So 5 sets with 2 jumps is probably going to be pretty good, because you got 3 ground contacts and 5 sets. That's 15 ground contacts. Not bad for a first week of training. And then you can obviously expand there as you go. So you got a couple different variables you can play with. I personally really like this. Once the athletes get the broad jump down, it's a nice little change of pace for things. It also teaches them to hit the ground and go. For your track athletes or people that are needing that kind of speed and power off the floor, definitely like your wide receivers and things like that, this is a really great broad jump variation that you can put in your training programs. If you got any questions, leave them in the comment section. Thanks. Have a great day.